On last episode, I reviewed the IXO 991 RSR Iron Dames Porsche. It's my first IXO model. I knew that the quality was not going to be quite Spark quality, but actually the differences between the two are actually quite pronounced. And on this episode, I'm going to compare this model again directly with a Spark model, and we're going to see the differences in the quality and the realism and the accuracy of this model. And then hopefully we can leave this episode leaving you with a comfortable decision as far as, is it worth spending twice as much for a Spark model, or should you settle for the IXO for roughly $100 to $130 shipped? Let's go. Alrighty guys, I got the Spark and the IXO side by side, IXO being the Iron Lynx and Spark being the WeatherTech. So let's point out some obvious differences here. We'll start down below. Hopefully this is a good enough angle for you guys to pick up on cam. But going with that front splitter, very nice dry carbon finish here. And with the IXO, it's just kind of a black plastic. It's definitely thinner. It's definitely not as beefy as you can tell. The grilling is definitely more pronounced and there's more depth with the front, not so much on the IXO. The front hood releases are actually raised and appear to be completely different separate pieces that are glued onto the model. With the IXO we just have decals. And take a look at the headlights, guys. The headlights are definitely something that sticks out to me. The shape is good. Honestly, the housing is pretty good on both of them. The actual black housing part of the headlight is actually pretty good. But the actual housing, the light housing on the inside are completely two different worlds, at least to me. The Spark looks space ages better to me and more realistic than the IXO. Okay, looking at these models from the back, again, big differences here. Honestly, the taillights don't look too bad on either of them. I would still say that the Spark, even though it doesn't have as much lens depth on the turn signal part, it's more like just a water slide decal. These look better and more accurate than the IXO. The rear rain fog light and the rear cam looks better on the Spark than the IXO. The grilling section here, on just the time that it took to actually put like a row grill insert in there, it's better than the IXO. But the number one thing that sticks out as far as the back goes is going to be that exhaust. So this is the complete accurate exhaust for the 2021 all the way to 2023 final year. It's going to be the muffled center exhaust. The only RSR model that the center rear unmuffled exhaust came on was going to be the 2018-2019 RSR. After that, they went to a side rear exhaust and then eventually offered the customer spec muffled rear center exhaust as well. So that was the number one thing that I noticed. And also the exhaust size, just the sizing looks more accurate on the RSR. Again, you get great depth on these tips. You can stick spike all the way in there, tons of depth. Metal tubing. With IXO, you just get plastic tubing. You don't get as big of tips, and yeah, you can't stick in spike very far, unfortunately. Another huge thing is going to be the spoiler. Metal uprights, metal winglets, extremely thick resin center section. And on the IXO, it is all plastic and apparently crooked. So definitely going to have to figure that out if I want to display this model. It's pretty disappointing. It's probably the most disappointing part about the IXO model. So, but yeah, again, incredible differences here, guys. Alrighty, and as mentioned, the Spark model, this is actually a metal piece right here. The IXO has a plastic piece, it's non-vented. So non-vented, you can actually see the engine detail. You can see roll cage detail on the inside of this panel. There is some fastening detail applied to this, not so much here. You do have a couple of black nubs, but no paint differential here. The scoop is definitely more pronounced and better detailed here than it is on the IXO as well. And looking at both models again, I'm sure you guys might be able to see on cam what I'm talking about as far as the rim and tire size. It appears that Spark is a little bit bigger, a little bit better sized, a little better proportion. And then the brake rotor detail, obvious and blatant valve stem right there. And then the caliper, the size of the calipers are definitely different. They're definitely a lot more flat on the IXO model. The grilling is definitely better on the Spark as far as these side inlets go. So that's definitely a big difference there. And just like the 2020 to 2023 real life RSR, it does have these block offs for the side exhaust. There is no block off here on this, as well as the very in-depth door handles that I can stick spike through here. Again, this one is just kind of a blob that's kind of cut out and shaped, so you definitely don't get the same level of detail there. The dry carbon, again, is really super pronounced on things like this venting right here, where it is definitely just kind of a gloss carbon fiber decal that's right here. The fuel filler, I forgot to mention, the fuel filler is actually not bad at all on the IXO model, kind of like the Spark, but again, front wiper detail is just it's way better than the IXO as well. And then paint finish, I think the paint finish is just absolutely phenomenal on the Spark model. The number plating, number badging, this one is 2022 Le Mans, this one is 2023 Le Mans, both amateur class though, as indicated by the orange. You get that very nice kind of pinkish hue to the side numbers, indicating that these light up. You do not get that on the IXO. And as far as these side block off rear quarter windows, the block offs for those anyways, you do get actual venting here on the Spark model, as well as a very nice kind of dry carbon finish on here, whereas these are black plastic. And the air charge port on the IXO is definitely not as detailed and does not have a real metal lanyard. This one does have a real metal lanyard on the right side. So the summary of this video, guys, is going to be to show you that IXO, while it comes in a great price form and what I would consider to be a great starter model, a great starter 118 model, there's really no comparison to Spark as far as the accuracy, the scaling, the build quality, and most importantly, the realism. Spark has just been able to capture every single aspect of realism when it comes to race Porsches, at least that I've been able to see. And I have reviewed quite a few Spark Porsche race models, and really, it's really hard to beat. Spark is absolutely what I would consider to be the benchmark of 118 collecting. As far as Porsche race cars goes, there is nothing really comparable. If you're going into it and thinking, oh, I can get 2 IXOs for the price of 1 Spark, there is a good reason for that. Spark has simply excelled in capturing all details, all forms of realism, down to the nut, down to the bolt, of these resin models, as much sense as that may make. But really, when it comes to the 118 game, one thing that you need to know is that you get what you pay for. So if you're beginning to get into 118 collecting journey, you're starting your own journey 118 collecting, then IXO would be a great starter brand to go with. You don't get as good of spoiler detail as far as metal uprights, metal winglets, and a very thick resin carbon center section as far as the spoiler goes. The wheel scaling seems a little bit off on IXO as compared to Spark models. Just fine details like the interior, white floorboard, you got Bosch stickers on modules. Spark is simply the top echelon As far as Porsche race cars goes, which is my niche, which is what I collect, but even if you collect other brands, other makes, other models of cars, hopefully you can take some aspect to this, because IXO does have quite a broad line of different cars that they make, not just Porsche. But hopefully this comparison will give you a peace of mind and give you some insight as to the differences that are definitely present between these two models. Two completely different levels of 118 collecting, if you ask me. So that'll do it for this one, guys. I hope you enjoyed my first Spark versus IXO comparison. Who knows, maybe we'll do some more in the future. But again, hopefully you found some use for this. And if you did, please make sure to hit that like button and subscribe on your way out. Happy hunting, happy collecting, and happy customizing. And remember, guys, it's about the cars, not the money. We'll see you on the next episode.